This is a manifestation channel, and basically I talk about all things manifestation because this is it. This is our life. We got this one life here on this earth, right? And we got to live it to the fullest. And so I'm just like here to tell y'all how to live your life to the fullest. So the title of my video is "You Got to Get Out of Your Own Way," right? And this title came up because, like, so if you've been following my journey, right? Me and my specific person, right? We, we good right now. We own. It's on, right? And so, sometimes like these doubts will creep in when you be with your specific person. I don't know why this happens. Maybe it's like a limited belief trying to creep up, or maybe it's just you thought about some old situation or whatever. Maybe I don't know what causes these things to pop up, but they do, right? And it'll be like you'll be thinking thoughts that ain't true, or you'll get I don't know why. I won't say you get triggered, because I didn't get triggered, because I have learned to master the moment, which is like to stay calm when the 3D is just being wonky or whatever. But what's really going on with manifestation is people are showing up for you based on how you see it. And I know it sounds like a lot of repetitive stuff, but that's because it takes repetition to really get your mind to understand what's going on, right? So these last couple of days or whatever, I've been hanging out with my SP. Like, we have hung out the last 3 days in a row, right? So, and it's been cool. It's been good. It's been great. But so today was good too. Like, today, like, he was showing up saying what I wanted him to say and doing what I wanted him to do, like everything. Like, he was just like I even remember when I had this affirmation, like, oh, he what I said something like he always letting his friends know that we together, or something I said. I can't remember exactly what the words were, but today he did just that, right? He like went out of his way to say it, like, to everybody that was around us, like, yeah, we fuck with each other, that or da. So I'm like, okay, cool. And then just like, he always like takes care of me. He always takes care of me. Like, one thing about my specific person is he always takes care of me. Like, even when we were just friends, he still always gave me gifts, looked out for me, and always took care of me, right? And so, and even when we were like in a weird space, it's never like he never did not take care of me. Like there's never been a time when like I really felt ignored by my SP, because if anytime I talk to him or reach out, he responds. Even if he's mad, he's still gonna respond. So it's not like that, but he's always kind of looked out for me. But so today we were like joking and hanging out and stuff. And then he said something that I knew that he was like trying to flirt with me, but I started to take it the wrong way. Like, I remain calm in the 3D, right? Because you don't want to react to this stuff. But in my head, I knew that I was reacting. Like, in my inside of me, I knew I was reacting. But like in the 3D, I just like played cooler, and I actually ended up like just stepping away from him or whatever for a minute, right? Like, I ended up going just to go cool down. And I came back and we were cool. But then I was thinking, like, now, first of all, it's like, even though I knew what he said, right? I ain't gonna repeat it. Even the way he said it, I knew he didn't mean it in a harmful way. And I knew he didn't mean it with malice. And he was being like, he was being mannish. If there was a way I could explain it, he was being mannish, right? And so a part of me felt like, don't talk to me like that. Like, I didn't say it, but a part of me felt like, don't talk to me like that, right? And even though he was just joking, but still, because you have to remember, we still have our boundaries and we still have our standards, right? And so, like, you're gonna meet my standard. But what I'm learning is, instead of trying to argue with them in the 3D, or trying to get them to see your point in a 3D, you have to go within yourself and say, okay, they realize what my standard is. They understand that I have boundaries. They respect my boundaries. They see, like, you have to tell yourself these things until these things come out in the 3D. And I still go through stuff where I have to check myself, like, why am I getting mad at the 3D, right? When I know where it's coming from. But and even though I understood that it was me versus me, I still got a little bit triggered. And I don't really understand why that happened, because I feel like, why am I getting triggered off this little shit that can be something that I could just let roll off my back? That's something I don't even have to trip over. Like, I really had to ask myself that. And then I was like, okay, so this is a pivotal moment, because if something comes up, right, knowing that I should just ignore it, or just ignore it till it goes away, right? You get an option. you get an option of, should I ignore this and let it go away, or should I stand up and say something to it, right? Because there are going to be things that happen to you in the physical reality where you're going to feel like, no, I need to stand up for myself. No, I need to speak back for that, do that. But it wasn't nothing like I said, it wasn't like malicious. It was more mannish what he said. Like, right. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to, we just got this good space, right? So I'm not gonna sit up here and like argue over nothing dumb, but at the same time, my feelings are valid too. And so what I come to realize is that I'm gonna say something. Like, I'm gonna say something, but I'm glad that I didn't say nothing right then on the spot. I'd rather just wait till I think it over and talk it over and then speak on it, because you still have to be you. Like, they show up based on you, what you think, how you handle situations, and what you do. So I'm gonna be me. There's parts of me that I'm just gonna be. I don't like. I'm me. So, and there's parts of me that's gonna be me. And even though I'm learning to dispel limited beliefs and change the way I see things, so my SP and people show up for me differently, I am still me. And there's some stuff that it makes me feel some type of way. I'm gonna say something. But what I'm learning is like, sometimes it's better to wait and address it later, right? Sometimes it's wait, and let them get a chance to think about, what they did, what you said, and then talk about it. And I'm not talking about like arguments, but just your boundaries that you have. Because what I have learned about manifestation is, once if you, like, if they say if you give a person an inch, they'll take a mile. If you give an inch off your boundaries, you're gonna find yourself inching your way to putting them on the pedestal and taking you off the pedestal. So you really have, so that's why your mindset is so important, because you have to remember who's on the pedestal, who's writing this story, who's in control. Stuff going to happen in the 3D. Actually, what he said to me was something I had been thinking, so it's not like he just said it for no reason. I get why he said it, but it's still, for some reason, it just made me feel some type of way in the 3D. And then I was like, I think that should show ego, because things have been going really good. And sometimes we as humans, we tend to feel like things are going so good, something gotta fuck it up. Something gotta happen, right? Like, you guys know what I mean. And it could be nothing. It could be, and sometimes we'll make a little thing that is nothing, we'll make it blow up into something. Like, I see that. But I'm glad that I'm able to catch those things in my 3D reality now and address them. And so, like, that's what I would tell you guys, right? You know, however you are responding to things in your 3D, however you think about them, however you address them, however you say it, is how they show up for you. So the good thing is, I just stepped away, cooled down a little bit, and came back, and then we were back cool again, right? And then it was like, he wasn't tripping, I wasn't tripping, or nothing. And like, I may bring it up later and I may not, but you know, just, they show up based on what you think about yourself, based on what you say about them, based on how you see them. These people don't have no free will in your reality. They have no choice but to do whatever it is that you say they're doing. And it's just the way it is. It's not like you have to feel like, oh, they doing it against their will. They don't even have no free will. You shift, because people in your life show up for you based on what you think about them, based on how you see them, based on how you live your life. This is just how they're going to show up. So how they're showing up, you predict that. You predict that. If they treating you like a princess, if they treating you like a king, they putting you on a pedestal, it's because you put yourself on a pedestal, and they respond to the energy that you put out. I mean, so like, I'm not mad at my specific person or anything. Like, and I know that at the end of the day, what he said, he was just trying to like, he was trying to like just let people know that, that we fucking with each other, and like, that we mess with each other. So I get it. I just didn't like the way he said it, but I get it. So I'm really trying not to be mad. But like I could see how the old me would have felt like, oh, I need to address this right now. Oh, I need to argue about this right now. Oh, I need to make sure that I check him right now. Like, but then it's like, if you go into that mode, then that's kind of where like the confrontation comes in, because like, maybe you'll feel like you want to talk to them just to set your boundary or get your point across. But sometimes we'll do that, and we're not mindful of the energy that we're carrying when we're saying this stuff to these people. And so then later on, the next day, when they got an attitude or something, it's plainly because it might be based off the attitude we had prior, because the things that we think and the energy that we put out, it has to come out in our reality. The thoughts that we think and the feelings that we put into stuff, they have to create in our reality, right? And so, I'm not saying like, well, I don't know. I mean, I guess you gotta decide. You have to decide what your boundaries are. You have to decide what your boundaries are, right? And at the same time, too, sometimes you'll feel like, oh, I'm about to walk away to teach this person a lesson, right? And then they might still do the same thing again, but you have to remember that you are creating whatever it is they're doing. And then another thing, too, I learned about people in your reality, or people that react to what you think or what you say, is that they do stuff in their own way. So maybe a way that I would say that I love you isn't necessarily the person that my mom would say I love you, or a way that my eldest would say I love you, right? But how they present it is still, you that's why you have to give people grace and look at what they're saying to you. Like like constructive criticism, right? Like sometimes people give you constructive criticism and they don't mean no harm. They really just telling you from a place of something they learned, or something that you need to learn, or trying to tell you something that could fix what you want to. Okay, I'll put this in a whole nother perspective, right? So it's not just my specific person that has to the total 180 or 360, however they say it. But I also, so one of my club brothers, because I'm in a cigar club, has this girlfriend, right? And I always thought that she was funny acting, right? And it was like, and I never really tripped off being her friend or kicking it with her, so I didn't care. But I know that I love my club brother. Like, this is actually my friend. We've been friends for years, so the guy. So I'm accepting of whoever he dating, right? And then I had to say to myself, she's only showing up funny acting because you're saying she's funny acting. So I was like, okay, I get it, Karma. Next time I see her, I'll work on it. So I ended up bumping into her tonight too. After me and my SP kicked it, he went home. I left, ended up hanging with my best friend. I ran into my brother's girlfriend, right? And so I was like, hey, how you doing? How you been today? And I just talked to her, right? And I just talked to her with a frame of mind that she ain't gonna act funny. She's gonna act normal. And it's like, and then me and her ended up having this long ass conversation. And this is the first time we've really talked in depth, right? And he been dating her at least 3 or 4 years. And so, I mean, like, I've been to her house and I've been to parties at her house, and but and I'm always cordial and polite, but it's just really getting to know her on a one-on-one basis. But I now see how, because of the way I was seeing her as funny acting, even if she did not want to act that way, she had to show up as that because it's what I say. And that's what shifting realities is. That is what people conforming is. It's just the story you're writing for them and how you say that they are showing up for you in your 3D. So you want your SP tomorrow. You want to be with your specific person tomorrow, right? You want them to call you, you want to spend time with them. Then you have to say to yourself, of course they want to spend time with me. Of course they love me. Of course they, make me a priority. I'm always chosen in their reality. They put me on the pedestal. You have to say this stuff, and then you have to say it continuously to yourself until it's like drilled into your head. But once you say it, and it's like like natural, like like how 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 plus 1 is 2, and you ain't gotta add 1 plus 1 in your head. You don't gotta look at the math book to know 1 plus. It's like a natural thing that 1 plus 1 is 2. This is how your affirmations have to start being. They have to start being like, so you can just whatever's going on in front of you, you instantly think of whatever positive affirmation you have, and then people show up based on that. See, we were under the misconception that conforming means that these people are changing, but that's not what that. They have always been who they are. Yeah, you shift to a different reality with them, but they have always been who they are. It's you who changes them when you change the way you see stuff. You want your SP tomorrow, then you have to see them as the person that loves you, the person that only loves you. They don't love no one else but you. They always show up for you. They always make you a priority. You have to do these things. You have to say this. You have to, even when you don't feel like it, even when you want to lay down and cry, you still got to just submerge your thoughts with these thoughts, and they conform to what you want. Because they are still them. They are still them. It's like, I know they say the 3D is an illusion, but and it is based on your thoughts. But they're still a physical being. There's still this real person in front of you that you see. But the good news is that you honestly do control how they show up for you based on the story that you write for them. If you writing of a story of, they don't show up for our dates, they don't return my call, then they, even if they want to take you out, Even if they want to call you first, they cannot. They can't. They just can't because you won't let them, because you keep saying that they won't. Like, you have to really be mindful of how you talk to yourself. And I'm just saying this because this is just because it's more than just getting your specific person. It's more than just getting your dream job. Because once you get it, you have to know how to keep the manifestation. You have to know how to show up every day as a version of you that has this manifestation. You have to know how to show up the version of you every day that no matter what's going on in 3D, you see yourself as having this manifestation. You see yourself as having whatever it is you want to have. And no one can take that from you. Nobody can come inside. Nobody can stop your manifestation, and nobody can take your manifestation away from you, which is why you should never feel like any of it is a failure. You should always feel like, okay, I'm making progress. This is working. There is always movement. There's always movement behind the scenes, and there's always movement in front of the scenes. These are these things should be like 1 + 1 to you. These things that I'm saying should be 1 + 1. These are your basics of manifestation. If you just get the basics down, it's so easy. You're not gonna miss your specific person. So your specific person could be yours right now. You could go to sleep tonight and wake up to call from them, text from them, simply because you said, of course they call me. Of course they text me. Of course they love me. Of course they want to spend every single freaking day with me. And literally, I'll say this shit. In the last 3 days, I have spent with my specific person. The last 3 days, we've been hanging and we've been hanging tough. Like, even today, actually today, which is kind of funny, is we really had this in-depth ass talk. And if you see my last video, I told you about how he introduced me to his granddaughter, right? So today, he was just saying stuff like, you special to me, you important to me, and that's why I introduced you to my granddaughter. And I was like, okay, but I had said, but my information was he wanted to introduce me to his family. I'm close with his family. But so to hear it in the 3D, it'd be like, well, of course you're gonna say this to me because I already said it in my reality. But it's the truth. But it made me feel good to know that, of course, you wanted to share your this family member with me, or you wanted to introduce us to each other. He was just like, he loved the way I gravitated toward his granddaughter and took her under my wing, because I'm a big sister type. Like, I consider myself like y'all big sister in manifestation. Like, I'm 41, so I'm not a young spring chicken. I'm not old yet, but I do still see myself as like an older auntie, older sister type. And so I'm giving y'all the game that I have learned through my trial and error. And as humans, we still have to go through our own trial and error, because the best way to really learn something is just put your hands in it and do it, right? But I still want to tell y'all ways. So even if you put your hands in it to do it, ways to get out of it, ways to look around it, other ways to think about it, just other avenues, so you don't have to break down when the 3D ain't what you want it to be, so you can still stay strong and stand tall and be calm when the 3D isn't what you want it to be. But if you want your SP tomorrow, you can have your SP tomorrow. Like literally, you can have your SP tomorrow based on the story that you are telling yourself about yourself. That's all it is. They don't need to change. You can stop looking at them for change, because the change don't come from them. It comes from within you. And these are things that nobody really tell you about what conforming mean. Conforming don't mean they change. Conforming means that you change. And then they show up for you based on who you are saying that you are. It's so simple, but it's something that you got to practice. That's why it's like you renew yourself daily, because daily you renew yourself and you tell yourself these things until they come into fruition, right? But I just want to say that because I'm trying to give y'all like the day to day, because it's one thing to get your manifestation, because I manifest ASPs, but it's another thing to actually to keep it going, to be the version of you in your mind that keeps your manifestation going, to be the version of you in your mind that doesn't have to worry, is my specific person going to find someone else? Is there a third party? Do they really love me? These are stupid ass questions. If you're asking them questions, you don't need an SP right now anyway. Because when you know without a shadow of doubt that you are chosen, that you're the priority, this your reality and you run it, those type of thoughts won't even come in your mind. That's how you know there's still work to do. When you think stupid shit, when you create third parties or think stupid shit, it's because you not really putting yourself on the pedestal. You're not putting yourself on the pedestal. Because if you was on a pedestal, you wouldn't be worried about nobody else. Because there is nobody else. There's nobody else to change except for us. Okay? I just wanted to say that because it was just like I saw myself trying to start tripping in a 3D, and I had to check myself and remove myself and bring myself back to the situation. And I just want to tell y'all the real, because this stuff is real out here. Anyway, YouTube, I love y'all. I gotta go. Bye.